What caused the LA fires? It's a fair question, and it's a question that has certainly triggered a lot of speculation, primarily online, from a drone cover-up to energy weapons to a political and economic scheme.
Didn't I tell y'all there will be an accidental explosion? Accidental fire?
Federal agents, y'all, they have released video footage proving that Diddy is responsible for these LA fires.
The massive wildfires in California.
The recent wildfires in Los Angeles, devastating thousands of homes and causing billions in damages, have left the city reeling. But beyond the charred landscapes lies a web of intrigue that's captivating the public. As Sean "Diddy" Combs faces federal trafficking and racketeering charges, conspiracy theories are ablaze, linking the destruction to a possible cover-up. Homes allegedly tied to his controversial gatherings now lie in ashes, fueling speculation about evidence lost to the flames. Is this a tragic coincidence, or could the fires mask something far more sinister? With whispers of FBI involvement, the mystery deepens, leaving everyone guessing.
Catastrophe in California. A Los Angeles disaster movie roars to life.
Whoa! This was like an 80-mile-an-hour blowtorch.
I came out and I saw a fireball.
Do you know what you're gonna do now?
How do I get to my house?
Tonight, homes in ashes.
Oh, God, it's gone.
I hadn't cried until I got here.
Lives in chaos.
My parents tried to get me out of here, but I couldn't leave.
I can't go, bro. 51 years, man, I've been in this house.
Heroes in action.
You haven't slept? Not really. You got control on one, and then the winds pick up.
The flames are still burning, and questions are burning too.
Why is there no water in the hydrants, Governor? Is it going to be different next time?
It has to be.
What lies ahead?
How do you come back from something like this?
They come back one day at a time.
LA's landscape changed forever. Its strength still stands.
We are resilient. We'll find a way.
We will rebuild, and we will rebuild together.
LA fires, fueled by dry conditions and unpredictable winds, are widely considered natural disasters.
No story has dominated the headlines more in the first few weeks of January than the devastating fires that have overtaken Los Angeles. It is an absolute tragedy what has unfolded. Let me give you some stats that are current at the time of this recording. So at least 24 people reportedly have died. 12,000 structures have been destroyed. According to ABC, 88,000 residents are under evacuation orders. Curfews are in effect in various areas. According to CNN, the Palisades, Eaton, and Hearst fires have burned about 60 square miles. Think about that. According to JP Morgan, we are looking at estimated insured losses exceeding $20 billion. Total economic losses could reach as high as $50 billion. And in terms of when this will all end, the two major fires, the Palisades and the Eaton fires, they're still not contained. And the winds can make those worse or even start new fires. As Deputy Chief of California Fire Bryce Bennett told CNN over the weekend, we need Mother Nature to give us a break.
The recent wildfires in Los Angeles have left behind widespread destruction, displacing thousands and causing damages estimated at $150 billion.
Someone is setting these fires.
As we're hearing about this catastrophic situation where these insurance companies have dropped fire coverage from thousands of policies in the years leading up to this.
I know they were messing with the water, letting reserves go for one reason or another. They've been doing that a while. Is it on purpose? It's an insane thing to think. But one begins to ponder, do they want the state empty? I don't know.
As the Los Angeles wildfires continue to destroy more and more land, people are starting to question what is going on here. Has the government failed us? Or is this a bigger conspiracy among celebrities? How is Diddy involved and what does Mel Gibson have to say?
However, a darker narrative has emerged, intertwining the tragedy with allegations against Sean "Diddy" Combs. Speculation has grown that the fires may have destroyed key evidence tied to his ongoing legal battles, a theory that has sparked significant public intrigue and debate.
The world is going to crumble when they see this next event. In the meantime, there's going to be distractions and fires to hide evidence. Watch for it, ask questions, demand answers. You know who's on those flight logs.
So I did find this article. It reads, on TikTok, the wildfire has been linked to famous rapper Diddy, who was arrested in September for trafficking and racketeering. Following his arrest, many internet users spread wild theories that the famous Hollywood actors, producers, and stars were all involved. Now, as the fires grow, a theory has emerged that the blaze was started and will continue in order to destroy evidence in the Diddy case. You know, I don't know how I feel about this because there are so many innocent people who lost their homes. I don't think Diddy was a part of that. They're talking about destroying the Diddy tunnels, but I mean, essentially the tunnels aren't going to burn if they're below ground, right? I mean, I've seen that the Olympics are going to be here in a couple of years and they have to build a lot of infrastructure for that. So clearing the way could make sense, but at the same time, the areas that were burnt, I don't think align with the map zoning of the Olympics. I don't know. There's so much fake news out here, people. Be careful.
Prosecutors allege that Diddy used his business empire to transport individuals across state lines for illicit activities. Known for his extravagant lifestyle, Diddy's infamous freak-off parties have come under scrutiny. Reports describe these gatherings as secretive, highly orchestrated events held in soundproofed venues with no phone policies. Allegations suggest these measures were designed to conceal misconduct. With his trial set for May, the stakes for Diddy have never been higher.
With any major tragedy, inevitably there are going to be conspiracies. One of the conspiracies regarding the terrible Los Angeles fires is that P. Diddy somehow orchestrated this in order to burn all incriminating evidence from his parties. What that theory doesn't seem to take into account is that law enforcement already seized the evidence from P. Diddy's house, at least that's what we've been told. Now, of course, there could be evidence in other celebrity houses, which is an interesting point alluded to by Catherine Austin Fitts. She's a former public official who, during George W. Bush's era, was the U.S. Assistant Secretary of Housing and Urban Development for Housing. She said the following, quote, "In situations like the LA fires, I look at patterns. How many of the homeowners were on the P. Diddy list? It's hard to conceive that the original fires weren't triggered from the sky or from the suborbital platform. It was likely induced. Now, the drought was also induced, and poor management was also induced. Was that coordinating? I don't know." End quote. Regardless of the conspiracies, what we know for a fact is that what's happening in Los Angeles is a tragedy. I have some family and friends who had to evacuate Pasadena because of the fires. I hope this gets resolved soon.
The timing of the Los Angeles fires has added fuel to conspiracy theories, suggesting that they were not entirely accidental. Homes connected to Diddy's social circle, including properties reportedly used for these gatherings, were among those destroyed. Some speculate this could be an attempt to erase physical evidence tied to the accusations. Viral social media posts claim FBI investigators had been focusing on certain locations before the fires, raising questions about whether critical materials were lost in the blaze. These theories have gained traction despite the lack of concrete evidence linking the fires to any deliberate effort.
Paris Hilton's home, they said her home has burned down, but y'all, they are saying that her home has something to do with all this Diddy stuff. Diddy's home is mansion. They said it hasn't burned down. Why hasn't it burned down, you guys? Because the feds already went in there. They already got what they needed. They said Beyonce's mom's home is burnt down. Y'all, they are saying a lot of these moguls' homes has burnt down. Some they're saying because of what's going on with Diddy. Some are saying that they are trying to cover up evidence. And y'all know that there is tunnels under those houses. A lot of those homes have tunnels. They have also, they say, evidence in those tunnels. I was watching a video, Uncle Gene, he was kind of letting it loose on accident, saying that it's due to hiding evidence. But y'all, let's continue. This is getting crazy and sad.
Complicating matters further, several celebrities connected to Diddy, including Paris Hilton and Mandy Moore, have remained silent about the impact of the fires on their homes. Others with ties to Diddy, such as Usher and Justin Bieber, have avoided commenting on both the fires and the allegations. Public silence from prominent figures like Beyoncé, Jay-Z, and Jennifer Lopez has fueled suspicions that the entertainment industry may be distancing itself from the controversy or shielding deeper connections.
But there is a long list of celebrities who have attended Diddy events, like Leonardo DiCaprio, Jay-Z, Beyonce, Ashton Kutcher, Paris Hilton, Howard Stern, Russell Brand. But Catherine said that she's seen dreadful things, saying this in a quote, I've seen dreadful things done in the interest of covering up inappropriate rings, like involving children, like those really nasty schemes. And this is likely to include whenever you do an operation this big, the operation referring to the LA fires, you stack functions. So there's a lot of stacking functions going on, but it wouldn't surprise me if one of those functions is getting stacked here. So I'm assuming that like what she's alluding to is that there could be plenty of things or reasons why, if this fire was started by someone, or I mean, I believe 95% of wildfires are started by humans, whether on purpose or accident. They're from humans, but yeah, maybe there are several reasons why they want to do this. I don't think it's just for Diddy. I mean, the government's literally going after him right now. It just depends if they're going to stop at him or continue going after everyone else involved. And I'm talking about the powerful people.
Apparently, Mel Gibson also has his own conspiracy theory about these fires.
Here's another theory I want to talk about, and it involves Mel Gibson. He appeared on Fox News Sunday, where he claimed that people were commissioned to start the wildfires. Mel, what do you know that we don't know? I want to hear this for myself.
I know they were messing with the water, letting reserves go for one reason or another. They've been doing that a while. California has a lot of problems that sort of baffle the mind as far as why they do things. And then in the events like this, you sort of look, well, is it on purpose? Which, it's an insane thing to think. But one begins to ponder whether or not there is a purpose in mind. What could it be, you know? I don't know. Do they want the state empty? I don't know.
Investigators have emphasized that wildfires are inherently chaotic and driven by environmental factors. Experts in fire science have dismissed claims of deliberate targeting, citing the unpredictable nature of fire spread, wind patterns, and the difficulty of orchestrating such an event on a massive scale. Additionally, they point out that most evidence in modern investigations is digital and stored securely off-site, making physical destruction less impactful than conspiracy theorists suggest.
So what the climate scientists say is that the temperature is getting hotter. That's making things drier. You've got extended heat waves, which draw moisture out of the soil and out of the vegetation. So you've got more dry vegetation. So when a fire starts, there's more fuel to keep that fire going, and it's likely to burn longer and burn a larger area. The National Oceanographic and Atmospheric Administration did a paper looking at the relationship between temperature increase and wildfires. They found that climate change had caused an almost 200% increase, so almost doubled the area burnt by wildfires since the 1970s. People are saying now $150 billion, the most expensive fire in US history and presumably in world history. So as a climate journalist, you look at this and you say, this is one of those kind of key events in the history of the whole planet's understanding of the potential impacts of climate change.
Nonetheless, certain details continue to stoke public curiosity. Reports of explosions during the fires and videos showing untouched properties adjacent to destroyed ones have been cited as evidence of foul play. Some have linked these anomalies to advanced technologies or even deliberate arson. Critics argue that such claims overlook the complex behavior of wildfires and the reality of uneven damage patterns caused by embers and shifting winds.
Wildfires are a year-round threat in the state, but this year it experienced its hottest summer on record. We know climate change is making the kind of hot, dry weather California has experienced in recent months more likely. And scientists say that is increasing the number of what are known as fire weather days. Now, this graph shows the increase in the area burnt by fires in the US since 1983. As you can see, it appears to have been growing steadily over the years. And there's another factor this year. The winter rains that normally reduce the fire risk in California didn't come. In fact, downtown Los Angeles has only received 0.16 inches of rain since October. That is more than 4 inches below average. The California Governor, Gavin Newsom, believes the pattern of wildfires is changing.
We were here not too long ago, the Franklin fire. A few weeks prior to that, the Mountain Fire. November, December, now January. There's no fire season, it's fire year, it's year round.
And look how the wind has been blowing the fires. These Santa Ana, or devil winds as they're sometimes called, are a normal part of California weather, caused by cool, dry air blowing from the interior of the state to the coast. Climate change doesn't appear to have altered the pattern of the Santa Ana winds, but as our world warms, the dangerous combination of strong winds with very dry vegetation is becoming more likely.
Adding to the intrigue is the upcoming release of a documentary, Diddy, The Making of a Bad Boy, which explores the music mogul's rise to fame. The project has drawn renewed attention to his past, and some theorize the fires may have conveniently obscured controversial elements that could have been highlighted in the film. Speculative connections between the documentary and the alleged destruction of evidence have further blurred the line between fact and fiction.
To imagine that someone would start fires in multiple locations around Los Angeles to protect Diddy. First of all, I don't think he's got that many supporters at that level. Second of all, I don't think he has that kind of cachet and sway to make someone do that. And certainly, I don't think anybody on a federal level needed to do anything to bolster their case in any way. It's just, pure and simple hogwash.
Yeah. I mean, we're talking about the greatest evidence tampering case in U.S. history then, because then we don't realize everything. There's digital evidence. It's already in the possession of the prosecutor's hands. But right. I had to say that, which, by the way, leads into just a tangential conspiracy theory, because people said, well, what was burned to the ground, what wasn't burned to the ground.
While conspiracy theories continue to gain traction online, officials have urged caution. They stress the importance of focusing on verified information and supporting recovery efforts for the thousands of victims affected by the fires.
It probably feels like the nightmare will never end as people in Southern California face a 6th straight day of deadly wildfires. Crews still at it, with winds expected to intensify again this week. At least 24 people have lost their lives. The Palisades fire is still largely uncontained, and it's already the most destructive fire in LA County history. One local official says more than 5,000 homes have been wiped out in the Palisades fire alone. Thousands losing everything in a matter of hours, including one family who lost their daughter's ashes.
Law enforcement has reported numerous arrests in evacuation zones, including for curfew violations, drone interference, and possession of weapons and narcotics, underscoring the challenges of maintaining order amidst the chaos.
There's no one on this earth, I think, who, well, maybe not on this earth, but there's no one in America I can imagine would say, great idea with 100-mile-an-hour Santa Ana gusts coming up this week. Just start a few fires to clear some land. Too many important people lost their homes, and those fires were shifting with the winds, which meant that anybody who was getting involved was at risk of losing their homes too. There was no way to predict pathways that this fire was going to take, which is why it was so hard. It's been so hard to fight and to contain. Anybody who was in that conspiracy plan would be wiped out too, more than likely.
For many, the Diddy allegations represent a dramatic intersection of celebrity culture, legal battles, and tragic events. The secrecy surrounding his gatherings, combined with the high-profile nature of the accusations, has created fertile ground for speculation. The fires, devastating as they are, have only intensified public scrutiny and fueled debates about their potential connection to a larger narrative.
So the man who's facing federal criminal sex crimes charges, scheduled to go to trial in May, facing numerous sexual assault lawsuits, there are those online who believe that these fires were deliberately set to protect him, apparently because his LA home, which was raided by the feds last year during the investigation, it hasn't been burned to the ground during the fires. As the Daily Mail reports, his home in Homely Hills is close to the Palisades fire path. There are other celebrities who lost their homes. His is okay. We're seeing the fires, the idea was it was destroying evidence. That's what it is, right? It's to destroy evidence in this case. It's a way to protect him. I can't believe I'm saying it, but you're combining one of the biggest crime stories in the past year with now one of the biggest natural disaster stories. I'm not surprised people are making the connection.
Despite the sensationalism, authorities continue to emphasize that no direct evidence supports the claim that the fires were orchestrated to destroy evidence linked to Diddy. As investigations progress, it remains critical to distinguish between fact and conjecture.
When fire hydrants ran dry in the Pacific Palisades, it sparked a wave of criticism and even misinformation.
Because Karen Bass didn't fill the reservoirs. So all the fire reservoirs were not, so the fire trucks there, they couldn't pump water.
They cut the water off.
They don't have water.
Surveys show LA did have water, but amid widespread frustration and a report that a local reservoir in the Palisades was offline and empty due to repair.
The victims of these fires deserve empathy and support as they rebuild their lives, and the legal process involving Diddy must be allowed to unfold without interference from unverified claims.
But the disgraced rapper's 17,000 square foot home, closely located to the chaos, has remained unscathed. The lavish house in Holmby Hills sits just outside of the Palisades fire's path, but has not been damaged by the disaster. Many celebrities who live in or near the Pacific Palisades area have been forced out of the neighborhoods. Anthony Hopkins, Paris Hilton, and John Goodman are just among the stars whose stunning mansions have been reduced to ash and rubble. As LA continues to battle these fires, Combs sits in his jail cell at Brooklyn's Metropolitan Detention Center as he awaits trial. He faces a slew of charges including trafficking, racketeering, and conspiracy. Some have even made baseless claims that the fires may have been started to cover up Diddy's alleged sex crimes and protect any allies he may have left.
In an era where misinformation spreads rapidly, it is more important than ever to approach such narratives with skepticism. While the allegations against Diddy are serious and warrant thorough investigation, linking them to the wildfires without substantive proof risks overshadowing the genuine suffering caused by these natural disasters. As recovery efforts continue, the focus should remain on supporting affected communities and ensuring justice is pursued through credible, evidence-based means.
Don't be the dumb guy. Don't be the dumb guy who just fell for it because you saw it once. And that should be strong for people who, because they are repeating claims, they want to sound like the smart guy who found something out and wanted to announce it to their friend group, whoever will be listening. Don't be the dumb guy who said the wrong thing and then is embarrassed later. I think if we all put our embarrassment meter a little higher, then we might actually take a beat. And when we see something that, strikes a chord with us, we'll double check it or we'll wait on it like we have to do. We see great pictures, we want to air them, but we wait because chances are it could have been from another fire, another country. And if you can't find the answer, you can't repeat it. So I wish, and I think people will do this, Jesse, honestly, because one of the things I'm heartened to see is in those AI images, the Hollywood sign burning, all the other ones, I've seen the comments saying, quit it with the AI. Enough already. This is AI BS. And it's remarkable how many of the comments say it. Like, people aren't standing for this crap. They're getting clever faster, I think, with the engineered imagery that's being funneled at them. And I'm happy about that. They're not just buying it hook, line, and sinker. And I think the more we get clever, smart, and we employ the mantra, don't be the dumb guy.
So what do you think? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more updates, and hit that bell so you never miss a thing.